there are a lot of people in like the video game world that have terminal TDS, or they
Yeah.
have like terminal kind of politics on their mind. And that's why most modern video games now stink.
That's true.
You know, they literally can't um get by. They can't not get political. They cram it into the
Right.
games, they cram it into everything they do. Well, I don't know if you caught this story, but we have a Blizzard employee. Blizzard runs World of Warcraft and or Call of Duty, tweeting out, posting this on Facebook, saying to end your local mega. This
Oh my,
tweet,
just what?
yeah,
Wow, and this just happened just a few days ago. Oh
Yep.
my
Is
goodness.
this a
this
screenshot
happened
or
on
is
the
this like
inauguration.
live? This is the actual page.
This is a screenshot, but he actually did
probably-
post it. I
he
saw it on
probably
the
took
page.
I was just wondering if
To
it's still
say-
there.
How did Facebook even allow that and not take it down too? That's what I want to know. Because if you were to say that about any of their protected groups, they would take that down. Rightfully, I mean, if you're gonna outright put down to
threat,
harm
yeah.
somebody, then yeah, that does need taken down. About anybody, just if you're gonna say to harm somebody. But it's like, wow.
Other people at Blizzard also liked this post.
Wow.
So, interestingly enough, you know, so since then, he has suspended, he's got rid of his Twitter, he's got rid of his LinkedIn, he's got rid of everything. Here's a list of all the people that liked the post. Also, other
Ooh.
people that worked at Blizzard. Look, not liking Trump, not liking MAGA, not liking whatever. You're 100% entitled to that. You're
Right.
100%. That's fine. But this is a direct call to action.
Yeah.
It's a bannable offense. People are like, Jeremy, why are you kind of trying to cancel this guy? I'm like, I hope he gets fired. I'm not trying to cancel him.
Anybody
If he had
who-
said Trump voters are dumb or I hate Trump or whatever,
right.
wouldn't even have said anything about it.
But when
But
you
this is
call
a direct
for
call to
violence
action.
against people, then yeah, those people do need fired from their.
Yeah.
They do need, like, their. I mean,
There should
they
be
should be
consequences.
investigated if you're gonna say to do something like that. And that's the thing too, is he's calling like over half the country. So
Yeah.
he's just wishing harm on over half the country.
And now Blizzard,
come
everything
on.
they tweet, like, keep identity politics out of your game. You want us to die. Like, everything Blizzard. This is why, I mean, this is what's going to happen now. Like, everything they post is getting flooded with people who are like, yo, this is odd.
Yeah.
Again, if he had said MAGA people are dumb, or I hate MAGA, or Trump is dumb, or
Right. He's allowed to just say that. That's not
Yeah.
a big deal.
yeah, he's allowed to say that. Now we're allowed to make fun of him.
Right.
Now I'm not calling for him to be fired, but I won't care if he does.
I think
I
he
won't
should
care
get
if the FBI
fired.
Well, I won't care if the FBI shows up at his house.
Right. I think
Yeah.
in this case, I mean, Blizzard should say, wait, you got to draw the line at calling for violence against people. I
Yeah.
don't care who it is. Like, if you can't just.
Have they
That's not
publicly commented on it
acceptable.
at all?
They have not. I mean, Blizzard agrees with us. That's the
That's
thing.
my
The
thing. Like, I feel
overwhelming
like they're going to be like, oh, we're
I
going to
know,
have to
that's-
like soft suspend you with pay and pay for your travel vacation while,
That's
just
what's
for public appearances.
crazy. Is like, I can't do any work with Blizzard because I say the F slur that they don't
Yeah.
like. But this guy can literally call for harm on people, for actual violence on people, and that's fine. That's acceptable.
Yeah, that's it's kind of this modern day. It's the way that it is. I do think Blizzard's going to be forced to comment because this thing has now reached kind of critical mass on Twitter. They'll do the thing where they first they'll start not tweeting, so they won't
Yeah.
have like as many options for people to dunk on them. Then phase 2 is hiding replies, and if the onslaught goes on beyond that, like once people start making videos about this, Blizzard's going to have to comment. Because when they can't even tweet from their own account, like, I mean, again, if Blizzard didn't fire him, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. But it would be interesting to say, at least Blizzard say, like, hey, we don't support that kind of stuff.
Right.
Like that's not, that's crazy. They did it on their personal Facebook page. We know if that they had said that about Biden, though, they would have been fired immediately.
Oh, exactly.
That's what do you make of this, Hannah Claire, the kind of the TDS? Do you think that it's going to get any better over the next 4 years? Like, how much energy do these people have?
I think it depends, right? Like, you don't post something like that unless you're also hoping people would be like, yeah, great idea. Like he's looking for attention. And I think there are some people who and it does exist on the right as well. There are some people who just hate Democrats, but TDS is obviously much more identifiable, where they will just hate Donald Trump no matter what, and it's part of their value to society. They think that it makes them socially acceptable. They think that this is how they gain attention from people. The fact that he could post something like that, hit post, and think, this is a good thing to post, I'm going to be so celebrated for this, people are going to like this post,
right,
is weird to me. And I don't know that you can get over it. Some people who are like, they don't like Donald Trump, they'll complain about him, but it's more mild, I think will kind of regress in their TDS diagnosis.
Right.
Because at a certain point, like, I was listening to a podcast yesterday that was talking about Trump's executive orders, and these like left-leaning pollsters were saying, well, I mean, Trump has really won the argument on certain things, but also the context on the ground. And they're talking about immigration. They're basically saying, like, now the crime from illegal immigration is undeniable. So even people who are like, I don't like Donald Trump, are like, well, it's very difficult to argue with.
How am I going to stand on? Yeah. I don't have much of a leg to stand on.
Right. So this Blizzard employee is probably like terminally TDS in the sense that he like uses it for social validation. I don't know that you get past that. Garden variety, I don't like Trump because I feel like we're not supposed to. They will probably change.
Well, there's some also finality in it. Like, he won. He's going to be out of office in 4 years. There's not much you can do but ride it out. Like, I don't really know. Although I do think, Melonie, in the gaming community, do you think that there's any hope whatsoever? Or are these people going to still just, because a lot of these games and these people, this has been, it's just like woke movies still coming out. Well, they made them 5 years ago.
Right.
So like gaming now needs a hard reset.
It does, because this is what happened, is that they funneled in a bunch of these woke activists and they replaced the old developers and people on all different sectors of the gaming industry with these woke people. And so and all of the DEI hiring practices and stuff, that means they're inherently hiring activists or hiring a bunch of female activists and the non-binaries, the made-up genders, this, that, and the other.
27% of the industry, by the way.
Yeah, and so you have a huge chunk of the industry now that has just that's it. That's leads to a lot of the people who are running the industry, and this is why games have been not good lately.
Yeah.
But so it is going to have to. I mean, and we are seeing a ton of layoffs. We're seeing studios shut down.
Ubisoft just closed down. Yeah.
Like the gaming industry is kind of in a. I mean, it's kind of in almost a crisis point where it's like something has to change, especially when you're factoring in also these massive budgets that they're putting toward these games, that a lot of these games are failing. So there needs to be a huge change, and whether or not that'll happen, it kind of has to, or the gaming industry is just going to crash and burn. So they need to go back to hiring people who are actually passionate about the gaming industry and that aren't just a bunch of activists. They're going to have to make games actually focus on being games and reaching actual gamers instead of trying to reach the mass, most people, modern audiences. They need to actually just, hey, let's focus on reaching gamers. Let's go ahead and make these games smaller budgets, and not everything has to be a huge cinematic movie, know, and actually let games be games. And there is a chance that it could fix itself, but it needs to appeal to actual gamers and not a bunch of activists, because activists can't keep the industry afloat.
Yeah, I do think that they're out of money now.
Yeah.
They're out of money for a lot of this nonsense. So I'm not saying we're going to get, people calling each other or whatever in video games.
Right.
That's never coming back probably. But I think you're going to see I have a feeling you're going to see hot chicks in Grand Theft Auto 6. I just have a feeling, I just have a feeling that Ubisoft is going to stop making their main characters ugly. I just have a
Yeah.
feeling
We'll
that you're
see
gonna
if
see less of
Ubisoft can
this.
even survive. Like
Yeah.
this is the thing with the next Assassin's Creed coming out, and that's going to be a
That's gonna be a
failure.
flop
We
too.
already
Yeah.
know that. I mean, this is kind of all of their big projects have failed lately. And so it's like, man, can they even recover from this? They're trying to get bought right now, and it's Ubisoft's in a bad place, and it sucks because I actually really like a lot of Ubisoft IPs. Huge
Yeah.
Splinter Cell fan, for
Far
example.
Cry, like, yeah.
Yeah, I wish that they would focus on what worked for Ubisoft.
Yeah.
I mean, Ubisoft doesn't have to go this extreme direction of like now we're anti-woke. You know, they don't have to do that. They get, and I don't even want them to do that. I want them to focus on making good games like they did before, and that they didn't insert like a ton of politics into everything, and they just focused on games just being fun and good.
Yeah.
I think going
agree.
too hard into the anti-woke, where the opposite actually is almost as cringy as
It
the
is.
woke.
It
Yeah.
really, I agree. It
I
is.
think that you are kind of doing the same thing they're doing, just in a different color.